Yes, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 26 of the EAFC25 rebuild career mode here with Sheffield Wednesday. And this will actually be the final episode of this series and the final episode of FC25. Obviously, with FC26 early release coming out tomorrow, hopefully we'll be able to get our hands on that one and start obviously a new career mode on the new EAFC game. This is why this is obviously the last one of FC25. It's a little bit of a longer video, but we only got 4 games here, and I'll explain all of that later on in the video. But we start off this episode with the confirmed sale of Bailey Catamaturi. Obviously, at the end of the last episode, we agreed a sale of him to Norwich for 1.6 million, and we did obviously get confirmation that he did move on over to Norwich, and we used those funds to go and look to sign another central midfielder. Obviously, we did bring in Alan Campbell previously, and obviously the summer transfer window. And we did look to go and buy another central midfielder in Deli Bashiru from Watford. And we did agree an initial 2 million signing fee. We had, I think, 0.6 million left, if my memory serves me right, from obviously the sales of Kabaki and Fasiri previously. Obviously, we bought Alan Campbell in as well. No, we had about 1.6 million, I think. And obviously, we're using 2 million of that on Deli Bashiru from Watford. As I say, £2 million signing and looking to obviously get him in the door in that central midfield role, obviously with the thoughts that Barry Bannon's obviously going to be retiring. Campbell's not probably lived up to expectations in the team at the minute, so we obviously wanted to bring in a replacement there. We did have to slightly extend our wage budget, but obviously my reasoning, and hopefully this will make sense, my reason for it is obviously we know we've got a couple of players retiring at the end of the season. We know we've got a couple of players leaving on a free transfer, i.e. Nathaniel Chalobah and Max Lowe, unless obviously we sign new contracts. So therefore, we're losing money in the wage budget from them leaving, which means we can put a little bit more money on the wage budget on the players coming in. And as I say, the first of those is Tom Deli Bashiru from Watford, just under 2 million, shall I say, 1.9 million. And he is through the door, and he is now officially a Sheffield Wednesday player. We've got B rating for the signing. He is currently 72 rated, central midfielder or a central defence midfielder. But obviously, with Chalobah in there a minute, he is going to be playing that central midfield role. And we're just looking through the team now. We just look at what positions we're potentially lacking in. So we've got 2 goalkeepers, 2 left backs, more than enough centre backs in there as well. Now Piotrowski's a right back. We have got 2 right backs and Carizzo on loan, who's growing really well. A good amount of midfielders. Obviously, we've got Ingleson in there. We've got Chalobah, Barry Bannon in there, Alan Campbell, Deli Bashiru, Haywood, the youngster as well. Wingers more than stacked up enough. Campbell, Jamal Lowe, Ricky J. Jones, Devon Long. And then up front, we've got Garner, we've got Ikugbo. So I feel like across the team, we are more than balanced as long as we don't make any more sales in this January transfer window. And if we do, especially if we lose any first team players, we may have to obviously look to bring 1 or 2 other players in. But as it stands at the minute, we're in a good place. And we get even better confirmation after that with the return from injury for Ricky J. Jones. As always, the injuries won't be available straight away. But obviously, we'll be looking to get back in the team fairly soon enough. When we go into the first game of the season, you'll have seen there Deli Bashiru making his debut for us from the off. But he is actually playing in that defensive midfield role instead of Chalobah, with Svante Ingleson and Barry Bannon, the 2 central midfielders, occupying either side of Deli Bashiru here. And we get off to a fairly poor start, or at least a start that Swansea do start the better of the 2 teams. Obviously, we are at home at Hillsborough, but it was Swansea who did get the first opportunity of the game. But we were definitely going to start getting opportunities. And that ball in for Devon Long was met by Jamal Lowe, but unfortunately the defenders around him, he couldn't quite get anything past goalkeeper. The goalkeeper easily hung on to it. But then it was Watford who really started creating chances. Really good shot there from their attacker, but fortunately for us, it did slice it wide of the post and didn't cause us too many problems. And then a couple of minutes later, Devon Long picks out Ugbo, picks out Deli Bashiru on his debut, looks to fire one into the top corner, but unfortunately a little bit too much on it, and it does fire over the crossbar. And the scores did stay 0-0 going into half time. But just after half time, it was that man again, the debutant Deli Bashiru, getting another decent shot with that right foot, this time on target but tip round post by the goalkeeper. And then from the resulting corner, Ingleson plays it in, and there's the man, Domayor from the centre back, rises highest out of everyone, gets out of the ball, directs it nicely towards goal into that bottom corner, and gives us the 1-0 lead at home against Swansea. So hopefully we can build on that, or at least hold that 1-0 lead. And it was actually us looking to build on it, and we did manage to get our second goal of the game. A good ball in from Marvey. Ikugbo couldn't quite get to the first header, but the poor defensive header from the Swansea defender, Ikugbo managed to get it, arch his neck backwards a little bit, get his header, loop over goalkeeper, and bring the scores 2-0. And obviously with about 20 minutes left to go, we were fairly comfortable, but unfortunately didn't last too long. A good goal there from the Swansea player Ji-sung. skip past our defenders and just fires it low past the goalkeeper into the back of the net. So we did bring some cavalry in to try and keep the scores in our favour, obviously with that 2-1 lead going towards the end of the game. But Swansea were obviously going to start piling the pressure here. A good ball across by Jason once again. Potnik gets ahead of it, unfortunately couldn't quite do anything with it. Ball finds himself to Ronald. Ronald tries to skip past, and unfortunately Jordan Amavi sticks his left leg out and brings Ronald down with just 10 minutes left to go, and it is a penalty for Swansea City. So this could be make or break, and this could really decide the game. If he scores, it'll obviously go to 2-2 and the momentum swings in Swansea's favour. If he doesn't score, stays with 2-1 and it's in our favour. And it's Potnik that steps up, hits the post. The Swansea attacker looks to get to the ball there, but fortunately our player dived in, didn't give away a penalty, and the scores did stay at 2-1, and we did manage to get the win, which is absolutely crucial. And then we did get more good news with the confirmation that Alex Campbell is also returning from injury. Again, not available straight away, but will be returning fairly soon. When we go into the second game, at home once again, this time against Preston. Same midfield three, Deli Bashiru starting in that defence midfield role after performance of those three midfields in the last game. A couple of changes here and there, Odafin coming in for Iorfa in that centre-back role, but generally the same rough team starting this game that started the last game. And obviously against Preston, at home, we were looking for obviously another victory to ride off the back of that Swansea result, but Preston were the team that really started pressing. They got the early goal just 10 minutes in. Ball finds itself towards Mike. He fires one across the goalkeeper. It hits the inside of the post, maybe a little bit of luck, but it hits the inside of the post and does go into the back of the net to give Preston a early 1-0 lead in this game. And then Preston really started building. To be fair, we were absolutely nowhere in this game to start with. Ball comes through, it's Reece who picks the ball up, and he fires it low past Pierce Charles. And just 15 minutes in, Preston North End do have a 2-0 lead away from home, and we were looking at a real mountain to climb here. But about 10 minutes later, we do manage to get down the right-hand side here. Jamal Lowe the ball in, keeper punches it, falls back to Jamal Lowe. Barry Bannon gets a chance, but unfortunately for us, the keeper does save it. And you might have seen there as well, Barry Bannon did have a little injury sign, so just 35 minutes left in, or 35 minutes into the game, we did unfortunately have to take Barry Bannon off due to injury, and we did bring on Nathaniel Chalobah, who then went slotted into that defence midfield role, and it allowed Deli Bashiru to go into that central midfield. But nothing changed. Reece managed to get a second goal of the game for Preston and make it 3 for the away side. A little bit of mix up between the defenders and the goalkeeper. The ball was loose. Reece was first to react, and he fired it into the back of the net from a difficult angle, to be fair, to give Preston the 3-0 lead. And that's how we went into half time. So really poor first half, especially at home. And we're obviously looking to pick things up into the second half. But it started how the first half ended. Good shot from Osmaic there for Preston. Fortunately, Pierce Charles dives to his left-hand side and manages to keep the ball out back of the net. And then from the resulting corner, a little bit of pinball hit going on here. Picks up to Deli Bashiru in the end. He looks to get past, unfortunately, just ricocheted in. Did eventually find his way to Valerie. You can see Aikougbo making a massive run through the middle of the park. Looks like he's for on goal here, but unfortunately, Hughes, the Preston centre-back, does manage to get back, and we couldn't create anything from that opportunity. But just a couple of minutes later, once again, Garner plays the ball in. Ingleson from point blank range gets the shot away, unfortunately saved by the goalkeeper. Jamal Lowe's shot was also saved from the follow-up, and then the shot from a really tight angle, to be fair, for the youngster Sean Garner, unfortunately for him once again, was saved by the Preston goalkeeper to keep the scores at 3-0 and limit our chance of getting back into this one. And when we do get another chance off the throw-in, Chalobah with a shot from range, a little bit of a speculative effort, fires over the bar, and unfortunately that first time effort couldn't cause any problems for Preston. But we did manage to actually get ourselves back into the game. A little ball in from Ingleson with his left foot there. Similar to Ingleson's chance earlier, a couple of minutes earlier, Aikougbo from point blank range gets the ball in the volley and fires it past the goalkeeper. This time, goalkeeper couldn't get anything on it, and Aikougbo does manage to score to halve the deficit to 3-1 to Preston. But Preston had another chance here, but luckily Bernard manages to use his strength and keep that ball out. With a quick break here, and Marvey plays it into Sean Garner. Sean Garner, really nice first touch just to play around with defender into Ingleson. Ingleson plays into a goal. Through on goal, little chip over the goalkeeper, unfortunately was just enough just to beat the goalkeeper, and Aikougbo gets the second of the game. Svante Ingleson gets the second assist of the game, and we do bring the scores back to 3-2. So a real opportunity here, momentum really in our favour. We wanted to use that, bringing on Piotrowski and Sullivan to try and get us the equaliser, but unfortunately we couldn't get it, and the scores stayed at 3-2 to Preston. Then 2 injuries off back of that. Aikougbo out for 4 weeks, and then the one we spoke about, Barry Bannon, luckily nothing too serious, just a 5-day one, so he will just miss 1 game from that injury. But a couple of messages from some returning players, and also Alan Campbell, who's obviously been out for a little bit. Max Lowe wants obviously to play. Alan Campbell wants to come in for Barry Bannon's position, and Sean Garner wants to start up front as the main man for Aikougbo. We give all 3 of them their wishes, Garner, long and low up front. Campbell, Chalobah and Deli Bashir in the midfield. Low, Drake, Iorfa and Piotrowski in that back line. And then we do actually decide to start Parkinson in the goalkeeper spot just to give Pierce Charles a little bit of a rest and give Parkinson an opportunity to show what he can do in this game against Stoke City. And it's at home again, so 3 home games in a row, which is a little bit strange. We'll definitely take it. And it was us who got off to a better start. Just a couple of minutes in, Deli Bashir, we've seen in the previous couple of games that he fancies himself in long range, and he had another shot there, but unfortunately couldn't steer it past goalkeeper. Then Stoke started coming into this game. Gallagher with a good chance, but a really good save from youngster Alex Parkinson in goal to tip that one round the post. And then the resulting corner, Law looks to, I think he plays it short here. Law plays it short, plays it into Ordonez. Ordonez plays the ball in. Stoke City player does get a header, but fortunately couldn't get it on target. No power, no accuracy, and wide of the post. Keeper scores at 0-0. But Stoke carried on. Gallagher with another decent shot there, but once again kept out by Parkinson, and it came to nothing. But then, about 25 minutes in, we did get our first opportunity. It's Deli Bashir, the new man, coming through, plays in Sean Garner through the 2 defenders, and look at that for a composed finish from the teenager. Really, really good finish with 2 defenders around him. Kept his cool, kept his head, and just slots underneath the Stoke goalkeeper and gives us that 1-0 lead, which, if we're being honest, the way the game's gone, probably a little bit against the run of play, but we'll definitely take it. Garner will definitely take the goal. He looks to get a second one here, but unfortunately for him, his header just diverted just wide of the post, and the score stayed at 1-0. But into the second half, and Stoke started the second half, how they started the first half, and being the team on top. Manhoff manages to get through, the defender falls over, but fortunately, Alex Parkinson once again showing why he wants to play ahead of Pierce Charles and showing his quality as the young goalkeeper. But unfortunately, it couldn't last forever. The ball, Gallagher gets the shot away, saved by Parkinson once again, did all he can to get to the rebound from Manhoff, but unfortunately, a little bit too much power and a little bit unbalanced from Parkinson, and Stoke did manage to get the equaliser, which probably deserved over the course of the game, but unfortunately for us, it obviously wasn't a good result for us, but we did manage to get back into the lead just 5 minutes before the end of the game. Ball finds itself to Jamal Lowe. He fires one across goalkeeper, keeps it on target, and that's all he needs to do to give us that 2-1 lead and the 2-1 victory in the game. Then more good news off back of that. Barry Banner's back from injury, just for one game he missed, and a really good bit of news from there. But obviously we are in the transfer window. We got a lot of offers straight after this game. Long, Bernard, Parkinson from Lyon to be fair. Sean Garner, the young striker as well from AC Milan, and Dom Iorfa also got an offer there, but we did reject them all, so we don't want to lose any of those players. If we do feel like it's a benefit to the player and a benefit to the team, then obviously we will definitely consider it, but none of those we wanted to accept. So keeping the same team, no player sales going in the background at the minute, and we do go into the big game of the season away from home at Bramall Lane, Still City derby, once again Sheffield United versus Sheffield Wednesday. And again, we did have to play a bit of a change-up squad due to fitness concerns. Garner starting up front again after that goal in the last game against Stoke, but it was Sheffield United who started off, and obviously the previous games against Sheffield United have all gone Sheffield United's way, and the way Sheffield United started, we were expecting them to go the same. So they got the first opportunity. We did get a chance there 25 minutes in from Iorfa, who scored a couple of games ago, but unfortunately couldn't quite get on target this game. And then Sheffield United got a really good chance just before half-time. Cannon with a shot, who's been a nemesis really in this series so far. He gets the shot away, but fortunately saved by Pierce Charles, who's back in our net, and scores stayed at 0-0. But just after half-time, Jamal Lowe gets a really good opportunity. Unfortunately, couldn't do anything with it. And then just a couple of minutes later, Ingleson drives forward, looks to play the ball low across the goal, hits a defender hits it against goalkeeper, ball ricochets back off the defender, and it goes in for an own goal to give us a 1-0 lead away from home at Bramall Lane. Ingleson's taken all the applause, and to be fair to him, a really good run, but obviously it was an own goal, so we can't take all the credit. And then 3 substitutions, 3 players all come back from injury. Ricky J. Jones for his first appearance back, Barry Bannon for his first appearance back after that short-term injury, and the youngster Alex Campbell also back from injury and making his first appearance since that. But Sheffield United are obviously looking to get back into this game. A good save there for Pierce Charles. And then we did get another decent opportunity. Campbell looking to score in his first game back from injury, but unfortunately couldn't quite steer that header on target. And the scores did stay 1-0 just a couple of minutes before the end. Ball comes through to Campbell. He gets the shot away. Saved by the goalkeeper. And who was there? Who would have known? Barry Bannon, the Sheffield Wednesday legend, been there 10 years this season. His final, we know he's retiring at the end of the season, his final ever season for Sheffield Wednesday, his final season in professional football, his final Still City derby away from home at Bramall Lane. and it is Barry Bannan who gets the goal, and he absolutely loves it, and the fans absolutely loved it, and that did give us a 2-0 lead and a 2-0 victory over Sheffield United. So really good Still City derby win there. But we go into deadline day and we do get a really interesting offer. Svante Ingolson, obviously player of the season for us last season, continued to perform this season. We know what he can do with that left foot, how he just ties game together and obviously picks up the odd goal from range as well. But we cannot deny him the opportunity to join the Premier League team, Everton, and we do agree a sale for him to see him leave on deadline day in January. And like I said, I didn't want him to leave, but we've got to be fair, we've got to keep this realistic. He's a good enough player to play in the Premier League. Everton are a Premier League team, a really established, historic team, and could we deny him the opportunity to do that? Absolutely not. So we had to say yes to it. We obviously got the best price we could for him, 3.4 million coming through the door, but obviously Svante Ingolson walking out the door on its way past that money coming in. So we knew we had to reinvest that money with Svante Ingolson going, and we did decide to go to one of the players we played in a recent game, Bosun Lawal from Stoke, only 22 years old, 69 rated, valued at 2.4 million, and we do agree a fee of £2 million, and he will be our Svante Ingolson replacement. Really strong, really tall, really good player on paper, and obviously we wanted to bring him in. We couldn't spend too much based on obviously the financial situation, but we could spend enough to be able to get Lawal in. So we do look to get him on a 4-year deal, as I say, only 22 years old. Important squad role, so not going to start every single game, but start the majority. We do offer him a £10,000 a week wage with a little bit of signing bonus. They come back with a little bit of negotiation. We do look to agree a £11,500 a week weekly wage for him with a £100,000 signing bonus, which eventually Lawal did accept. So we do manage to get the Ingolson replacement through the door, and we are happy with that signing. So obviously we bought, actually, majority of our signings have been midfielders. We bought obviously Lawal in now. We bought in Alan Campbell as our first sort of money signing, and obviously we bought Deli Bashiru in. So I think actually all of the players we spent money on, to be fair, have been central midfielders. So obviously one of them was Campbell, obviously looking to replace Barry Bannan when he retires. Campbell hasn't played very well, if we're being honest, hence why we bought Deli Bashiru in, and then obviously with the Ingolson sale, that's why we bought Lawal in, and he's got really good stats, to be fair, and you'll see him in just a second. Like I say, 81 physical, good all-round stats, decent pace, decent shooting, decent passing and dribbling, decent defending as well, so nothing exquisite bar his physical, but good across the board. But we do put him on a playmaker training plan, obviously just to increase his passing, but just having a look at where we are in the table at the minute, currently 8th, just 3 points off of those playoff positions. Currently got the FA Cup round coming up next against the local rival Sheffield United, and obviously we are at the Carabao Cup. And the reason I mention that is because we don't have the game time, or we don't have the time to play all of the games. So we did simulate the rest of the season. Obviously with FC25 around the corner, I don't have the time to play all the games up to that point. So we just sim the rest of the season to nicely round out this series. And we do unfortunately not manage to make playoffs, and we do finish in 11th place. So as I say, that is going to round up the season. Just having a quick look at the players in the team as of the end of Season 2. We've got some players in there who, to be fair, should be playing Premier League football. Piers Charles being the main one here. He's up to a 75. He's still only 20 years old. He should be a Premier League goalkeeper. You've got other ones in there as well. You've got Valerie, who should realistically be in the Premier League. You've got even the two new signings, Lawal and Deli Bashiru. You've got Ikubo. All could do a job in the Premier League. Deshaun Bernard definitely could do a job in the Premier League. And obviously got some really good youngsters coming through. Drake, Garner, Hayward, Alex Campbell, Jenkins, even the right back Carizzo's gone up 8 ratings this season to a 65. So a really good all-round squad, and obviously been an absolute pleasure to play with every single one of them. And I hope I've done them and the team justice. Hopefully I have left this Sheffield Wednesday squad in a better position than when we took over. Obviously I had a paper-thin squad, and hopefully we have really built that squad out and really done Sheffield Wednesday fans proud. And just looking at the stats at the end of this season, top scorer at Ugbo, like it was last season, and you will see in a second, top assist to Alex Campbell, once again, just like last season, despite being out for a long season, injured. But as I say, that is going to round out FC25 for us. Obviously, this is the first series we've done on YouTube. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed it. If you have, please show some support and subscribe to the channel. Please drop a like on the video, and please comment suggestions for the FC26 career mode. As I said last time, we have got some ideas in our heads, but if you want to see anything, please drop them in the comments below. As I say, early access coming out tomorrow. Hopefully we will be able to get hold of that, and we will be able to get some series uploaded. But as always, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the other side in FC26. Take care. Bye-bye.